Welcome back. We are going to do round 2 today, round 16 in the tournament. Elise, we've got Austin Shin facing Alec Sjoholm. Are you excited?
Yeah, this should be an awesome matchup. Both are really strong players. They're both doing super well in this tournament. Yeah, maybe we can take a look at the preview and see what their records are here.
Yeah, I think we've got 11-4 facing 13-2, so we've got two rather likely people to see in the finals. I think we're going to give them the go-ahead.
Yeah, let's get right into it and see some amazing Scrabble.
Yeah, we've got a handshake. Austin is about to draw, so we are ready to go.
Yeah, and hopefully Austin can shake the stream curse. Like you'd mentioned, he's on a great record here, but I don't think he's managed to win a game on stream yet. So we'll see if he can shake here.
I think he is 11-1 off stream and 0-3 on stream. Austin might be wishing he went second with things like a B giving him boat yard.
Ooh, that would be cool.
With this rack, we have the age-old short versus long debate. I think in this case, it is leaning towards long. The best short play might be something like YAD Yod, a pointer thingy for the Torah that has a finger on the end, but AORT is relatively uninspiring. I think I like something like Today or Toady.
I agree. Yeah, I think the leave isn't really good enough to justify a short play. So just getting that Y on the double letter score and getting, 26 or 28 points this turn would be nice.
Yeah, I totally don't fault Austin for playing Toady. I would do this myself. I like the idea. 26 points for Toady. I like the idea. Alec has SNEGOWK. He spelled Gauk out on his rack. Doesn't look like it goes anywhere for a great score. What else are we thinking, Elise?
Yeah, he could just play off the WOK with something like walk or cow. I think that fits, let's see, underneath Toady, just putting the W or the K under that O.
I think it's hard.
Good option.
I think it's hard to argue with something like walk. Maybe there's an argument in favor of woke, the word AE making it a little bit harder to work with underneath. That said, I would be a bit worried to get rid of my only vowel for only 3 points, the E being an eternally welcome sight on racks, especially with only one of them.
That's a good point, yeah. Macondo has walk and woke simming kind of neck and neck. Like you said, yeah, putting down that extra E kind of obstructs that double-double lane with the D and but the E is also just such a good tile to keep.
Yeah, sometimes tough to know exactly how much defense is too much. Seemingly in this point, it is pretty close. I like both options, and Alec is choosing walk.
And now here it looks like Austin has a double-double, which I expect him to find.
Yeah, one of those racks where maybe one vowel too many to think about bingoing, but this time he has the double-double of Gordita. Blocking the double-double, at least partially, was another one of those advantages for walk. We see a marginal spot where the more defensive option would have really worked out this time, but of course that is kind of just a coincidence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's impossible to know whether he's going to be able to hit that spot, but luckily he can. I think this is a great play.
Alec with one of those racks, maybe a little bit annoying. I would look for a bingo for quite a while. There isn't one. Alec probably wishing that I, in Gordita, was a little bit more exposed. It would give him his only 8-letter word of cerning. Elise, this is an annoying spot. What do you think of something like Khan? It's probably the top equity play, but it scores 11 points and is very transparent with Alec's intentions.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, sometimes you just want to go with equity and hope for a bingo. It is, yeah, a little bit transparent as a fishing play. If you see your opponent playing con for 11, you're going to get a little bit scared, I think. But yeah, I don't see many other great options here. I guess he could play something longer like Conger, but that just puts the R right in a really dangerous spot, so I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, one of the other options might be something like Scent forming and Oak or Gent in that area. Scores a little bit more, but 4 consonants and 0 vowels is gonna go wrong easily, especially with it obstructing the A in Gordita. So I don't hate the idea of just con. It is kind of annoying, but maybe correct. Another option being something like Nong in that same spot. If you are a little bit worried about the imbalance, you get to play off one extra consonant.
Yeah, I think Nong is also a defensible option here, just offloading a few more consonants.
Looks a little bit hard to go wrong if you pick one of the more logical choices. A lot of plays are looking to be about equal in our computer simulation, maybe within 1% of each other. Austin with a not great rack. He had 2 eyes and told the genie he didn't want 2 eyes, so the monkey paw curled, and now he has 3.
Yeah, that is going to be a little bit hard to work through. We'll see what he does. Okay,
Alec,
so Alec goes with con.
totally reasonable choice. Let's hope he doesn't get inundated with too many consonants. Even if he does, the A might act as a bailout. Unfortunately for him, the bingos through the A are one away from fitting, those being Frangers and Granfers.
Hmm. And it looks like con is going to give Austin a few plays back. He could make the word cone and play something like yipe here. He also has that underneath, I think. I guess
Yeah.
underneath. Yeah.
Cone is very uninspiring. Cone and Yipe. It is the top equity play. Another option I kind of like is Deity underneath the play of Walk. One of the things I like about Deity is that Con screams good leave with too many consonants. The A could easily act as a bailout with a 5 or 6 consonant rack from Alec. So, kind of like the idea of Deity underneath Walk for that reason. But Austin is going with Payan.
Yeah, what do you think about this choice here?
Deity being the computer preferred play, I think even a little bit better with what we know about Khan. But Payan is another solid choice, DEII, the kind of thing that at least could turn into a bingo, although it also has the ability to go wrong. But Payan is a solid choice.
Yeah, and Alec is going to slam down what looks to be his top equity play here of Reft underneath Walk. This is a nice find.
I think it's hard to argue with Raft. It does set the board up in a nice way where it is pretty S dependent, but Alec having an S. So great idea. And he's going to have something like Gunter's or something like Sergeant and Tort. So yeah, Alec
Yes.
managing to draw well. He can play Gurnets or Gunters with 2 nice overlaps, Tor or Tort and Okas.
Very nice. So he finally hits his bingo here. Yeah, which bingo would you prefer here? You have a lot of options. I think he has over 5 different placements of Gurnets or Gunters or Sergeant.
Yeah, for sure. I think you have to acknowledge that 78 is going to be hard to pass up when the other ones score at most 70. And after that, I think it's just about getting something down. Don't want to waste too much time here when they are nearly identical in what they do to the board. So I like just putting something down. Alec has chosen Gurnets. I think it's totally logical.
Yeah, that looks nice to me. And Austin has evicted lined up on his rack, but I don't think it goes anywhere. Actually, I don't think he'll have a playable bingo on this turn.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anything is going to play. Austin in a bit of a pickle here. He's down a little bit and he has to decide, should I play something like Veet, shutting down the board a little bit, VITE underneath Gurnets. Veet sets himself up very nicely, but it is also likely to set up Alec nicely. But he is still close enough that he can think about maybe not focusing too much on bingos. Another option being Dict, which opens up the triple but scores as well as he can. 33 points, Elise. What is on your mind?
Yeah, I don't know. I know Veet does set up a Veet, which would be nice, but there's still a lot of E's left, so I would be worried about Alec having one and taking that hook for himself. I don't hate Dict, just, taking 33 points, keeping the scoring pressure up, bringing the game kind of to a tie. I think that could be a nice option.
Another interesting option might be Vedute. It obstructs the only lanes for eights on the board, really, and it stops some of the harder hitting parallel plays that go underneath Gurnets. Something like Zaire, if Alec had drawn the Z, would not be playable after a play like Vedute. I am wondering if that is a good option. I think this might be one of those spots where it's hard to go terribly wrong as long as you pick one of the more logical choices. They're all pretty identical in value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Vedute is an interesting option as well.
One option we didn't discuss is Vi to the right of Geed. It has advantages because it puts the V next to the top right triple word score, making it unusable, and it sets up the D on Austin's rack with a Peed. So that might give Austin some shots at bingos, which would really help him since he is a bit behind now.
Yeah, I like that option, and Macondo also likes it too. It puts Vi and Veet kind of neck and neck here.
Yeah. So we will see what Austin does. Vi is what I like thinking about it now. Veet actually doing pretty well in the sim. Enough E's are on the board that the E setup probably helps Austin, but it is very risky. We know that Alec does not have an E, but Austin doesn't know that. And in fact, if Austin does play Veet, Alec would have a pretty nice Fa underneath for 40 plus points.
Ah, true. Yeah, that does give back some underlaps. Or I guess that'd be an overlap.
I think it would be an underlap.
Underlap, yeah.
It's underneath GI and UT. Austin has Vi spelled out. I like this choice.
Yeah, this is nice.
Yeah, Alec with FHIOTGA spelled out on his rack. You're going to have a couple different choices. Pi takes a back T. Don't think there's anything too great to do with that, though, but it is probably something in the back of his mind.
Yeah, he also has a really cool hook. So Oaks takes a front J for jokes, and he could just plop his J down there and play jar for 47 points. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a great choice. There's also gigot, which is a French word for a ham leg.
Yeah, would you prefer to play longer here or shorter?
I like the idea of jokes and jar. Hard to argue with those meant that many points, and I think he does have some shots at hitting a very nice play with Pietz.
True, yeah. He still has that useful hook here.
Yeah, Austin with a couple of 7-letter words, sestoid and cotized. Don't think, and co-edits. Don't think he can get any of those on the triple because they all start with a C.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. This rack looks so good, but I don't know if he has any bingos that actually fit here.
Yeah, this is a tricky spot where you think you have to have something, but you don't.
Oh wow, and it looks like Alec just drew into frothier.
Yeah, we will see if that stays open. I'm not sure which direction Austin will go in. I could definitely see something like Coit underneath Gurnitz, which might block it.
Yeah, I like that option. He also has Dicot's down at 03, which scores 37 points but gets rid of his S. What do you think about that?
I like the
So that,
idea, especially Pi taking a lot of hooks. This might be one of those situations where you kind of accept the fact that the setup didn't work out quite as planned for you, and maybe I'm going to kill it before Alec can use it. Pi taking a D, an R, an S, and a T. Pretty volatile spot.
yeah, I think I would be seriously considering that option.
It is important to note that Austin is starting this turn at a bit of a deficit. Something like Dicot's is pretty uninspiring because he is at the score where he is thinking of bingoing. I think I might prefer Coit a little bit for that reason. It does keep the D and the S. Great bingo tiles and things that perform very well on this board with the pi lane sitting there. Also, things that go well underneath it.
Yeah, and the Macondo sim agrees with you. It puts Coit pretty far ahead of Dicot's. So
And
yeah, I
I
think there
was
is something to be said for kind of holding out and hoping
I
to
was
maybe hit that pie hook next turn.
I was wrong. Coit actually doesn't block Frothier. I didn't quite put it together. Frothier will still be
Ah,
available on top, but
true.
Austin appears to be about to put Coit down. Like the idea here.
And now we have that C in that triple triple lane, so this should get interesting depending
Yeah,
on what Austin draws.
Alec will not be using the triple lane because he has a bingo of Frothier. So we will see if Austin can access the C for value. Doesn't look like he has anything great, but we will see what he comes up with after Frothier. One thing I see jumping out to me on Austin's rack if Alec plays Frothier is the 6-letter word of Sadhu. A bit uninspiring to have to give up your S like that, but it does slot the S in the triple in a volatile way, which is a really nice thing when you're behind because often your opponent will have to choose between using that spot for not a great scorer or ignoring it and leaving an S like that as a possible comeback for you.
Yeah, that would be a really excellent find. It's kind of hard to see that you have a word there that doesn't end in H, but extends and puts the U after that. But I expect him to know this word and maybe put it down.
Alec drawing paywall underneath Coit. That would be a really nice find.
Wow, that's really nice.
The only 7 in that rack. There's no creative spellings of wallop available. In fact, a walls being the only 8-letter word, Alec being the strong player that he is, has already spelled it out. I am sure he is excited. Unfortunately, if Austin settles on something like Udall underneath Coit, might struggle to get it down.
Yeah, it is dependent on that GI staying open. So So we'll see what Austin does if he ends up making a play that blocks the bingo or not.
Yeah, I like the idea of Sadhu here. It is a tricky word to see. I think it does a lot of what Austin is hoping for. Unfortunately, this time it will set up paywalls for a big score.
Wow, Macondo has another suggestion here of playing Dude next to Frothier, just opening things up even more. What do you think
That's
about that?
really interesting choice. It's going to be hard to get rid of all the triples at once, which is a nice thing when you are starting at a deficit. I definitely like that idea, and Austin has it spelled out.
Yeah, that would be exciting to see. I love to see these just wide open boards with so many things possible. But we still have that pie hook, the C in Coit, the H in Frothier. We're going to see maybe a lot of high scoring plays in the future.
Yeah, Austin in another tough spot on stream, but if he plays Dude, there will at least be some shots at a triple that could help him come back, especially with, from his perspective, 2 blanks unseen, although we know it is only 1 because Alec has a blank, but he has no way of knowing that.
Yeah, and when you're behind, you kind of hold out hope that maybe both of those blanks are in the bag. You're always kind of hoping for the best case scenario.
Yeah, it's important to remember that there is only one game to lose, and something desperate that sometimes comes back. The only thing you can lose is a spread. It often makes sense to go for broke in a spot like this. So I like the idea of a choice like Dude, which is exactly what Austin has decided to do.
Yeah, I think this is a really cool idea.
Unfortunately for him, Alec, with paywall spelled out on his rack, he is probably very happy it stayed open.
Yeah, I expect that to come down pretty quickly.
Austin with the X, usually a welcome sight, and it does play for 52 on this board, but I wonder how badly he wanted a triple. He is going to be pretty far behind after paywall.
Yeah, I mean, the X has so much scoring potential, but it really is slowing him down from his main goal here, which is, I think, to bingo. So it's not the most welcome sight.
Luckily for Austin, there is 2 open triples. There will still be 2 open triples after he probably plays either X or Sex. There will probably be at least 1 after Alec makes his next turn. So Austin will still probably have a shot at a triple.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, which of those 2 options would you prefer between X and Sex? Would you want to hold on to your S here, or just take the extra points when you can?
Normally, I love holding on to the S. I think it is justified here. You do have to wonder how much the S is acting as an excess consonant here, with a sex being 7 extra points. That said, I think something like X is totally justifiable. Computer simulation actually preferring locks for 26 points, going for broke with a triple. I like that idea too. Something like baldness, bladiest, going to be pretty easy to draw if Austin can get the right combo. And at this score, it is about going for broke.
Yeah, that's really educational. I would never think to sacrifice 30 points and play off an L, but yeah, those double L's are really going to hold you back from triple options. And that's, yeah,
Yeah,
your kind of only hope in this game. So locks would have been a cool play.
these games with a large point deficit can lead themselves to situations where a very big sacrifice ends up suddenly making sense. Alec with AEEEIOS, the best equity options are appearing to block the C. Elise, do you think there's any argument in favor of blocking the D? I think it might be a little bit easier to triple through there. And at this score line, I think it's worth considering.
Yeah, I would consider that too. I'm not seeing many great options that do it though. I'm not sure if you saw some words that fit there. It's really hard with all those vowels.
Yeah, something like EIDE is pretty uninspiring at 5 points, but that's the kind of play I would at least keep at the back of my head. Maybe something like Dosai.
Yeah, I like that. I think the difference between 18 points and 5 points here or whatever is not so much. It's really more about blocking the threats. So you definitely do want to consider playing through the D, even if you're going to be sacrificing a bit to do so.
Computer simulation preferring Chow, but finding Ide and Dosai way up there due to the fact that they block the more likely triple triple at the expense of either points or leave. I could see going either way there. I like Chow.
Wow, and he's going to make a ballsy play of opening another triple triple here. What do you think about this?
I think there's not a lot of good choices, and I like the idea. Austin correctly acknowledging that he needs a triple triple to come back, and now he's got two choices. Also, going to be lucky in the sense that Alec's blocking options are not great. Some of the blocking options are things like Sabe keeping EEOS and Obese keeping AES but only scoring 7 points.
Yeah, do you play something like Obia instead to the H, just taking 30, or do you think it's really important to block that S here?
I think another option, which is pretty volatile but does somewhat block the S, that I might do is B Lee for 26 points. Not ideal to block it only partially, and not ideal to set up an S and D hook in the triple lane. But we are at the score where it is going to be hard for Austin to come back if he just has a triple bingo for 100. So also think B Lee is totally justifiable.
Yeah, I think that's a really good kind of intermediate option. It's sort of partially blocking, but it also scores a good amount. And yeah, like you said, these open triple lanes, if you set up an S hook or, considering the hook on pi, Austin could score a lot there, but it's not going to be quite enough to come back. So I think obstructing
Yeah,
it at least partially is good.
definitely. Austin with another one of those almost not quite bingo racks. It's gonna wish that a G or an O somehow appearing in space for things like mornings and Norimones. Unfortunately for him, we know that is not going to happen. I think Alec is spelling out abode, another reasonable choice because it blocks one of the triple triples while scoring better than the ones that block the S. I like this idea.
Yeah, I like this too. And yeah, I'm sure Austin is kind of frustrated with this draw.
Elise, would you have considered abodes? The pool is pretty consonant heavy, and the S is kind of acting as a consonant here. I think that's another interesting choice.
Yeah, I like that choice too. I mean, keeping the S, it does give you options with the pi hook, but here, yeah, we see that he drew quite a few consonants. So you could
Yeah.
get into some trouble if you hold on to too many.
Yeah, and Austin with not great options. His highest scoring choice, maybe his best choice, is Toadyism, but that also leaves him with the clunky leave of NNOR. I think it's going to be very tough to come back because I think Alec is always blocking the S now.
Yeah, this is really challenging. I mean, toadyism is certainly stylish, but yeah, you're getting rid of your S, you're keeping two N's. It's just not doing what you really want to be doing at this point.
Yeah, another tough game for Austin on stream. But as we can see from his record, he's a good player. He is winning almost every time he's not on stream. And I don't think I have too much to quibble with the way he has been playing. I think the only thing I would do differently in his shoes is play deity instead of a pie-in.
Yeah, I agree. I think Austin has been doing a great job of making chances for himself here, and that can be really hard to know how to do. It's just a sign of a really top level player that you never give up and you're always trying to create opportunities to come back. But
Yeah, for
unfortunately,
sure.
yeah, worked out for him so well.
We saw Coit once his deficit hit one bingo. We saw Balls once his deficit hit two bingos. He's doing the right things. It's just a very tough spot to be in.
Yeah, and the computer simulation here just, I guess, wants you to cut your losses and play something like minors to the S in balls. I'm not sure about that, but
Yeah, I may have generated a few more choices than you. I'm seeing a couple of different suggestions. My suggestions are things like in earns for 28 points, going through the U and dude. Another one of those plays where you're just cutting spread and kind of accepting your fate here. Think maybe occasionally you get Alec to make a low scoring play with the S and you get something with maybe the second S and pies, maybe the T and piet, and you don't have a great chance, but you at least get some sort of shot there. Also likes in earn, same idea, you just keep the S for pies at the expense of 2 points.
yeah, I kind of like that option of inner and holding on to the S and yeah, just hoping that you can hit something high scoring from that pie hook.
Yeah, I think it's hard to quibble with any kind of logical choice here. They all have their own issues, and no matter what he does, it'll be pretty hard to come back. So maybe the best thing Austin can do at this point is just regroup and get ready for round 17.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in a tournament, there are always going to be games like this, and you just have to figure out how to move on and not let it affect your future play.
For sure, and we are gonna see MINS. Don't know where that goes. Minus, yeah, Austin is probably going for as many points as he can while leaving the R for Pier.
Yeah, this makes a ton of sense. And Makondo likes this play too. Puts it
Alec
up in the top. Sorry.
is far enough. No worries, no worries. Alec is far enough ahead. He can probably play something like Helve and risk the setting up the bingo lanes that score about 100. He can afford that, and he can set up his Z for a potential jackpot.
Yeah, that's a really cool option. I like that.
If he doesn't want to do that, he can play something like Zed, but that does leave the triple triple open. So I think we are definitely going to see something from Alec that obstructs the triple triple. Maybe if Alec is worried about all forms of bingos, we might see something like Veals through the L in balls, a little bit safer. I think maybe the upside is quite a bit lower, though.
Okay, so he's gonna play evens and yeah, set up that Z spot for himself.
Yeah, was going to be hard to lose here. I think evens blocking Austin's only bingos of Enamor and Neuromas. Austin's highest scoring play is Melano, which is a very dark example of an animal, someone with a lot of melanin. It plays through the L in balls and scores 40 points. It would be a form of giving up, as Austin would be emptying the bag and getting less than 7 tiles in the bag. I wonder, with all those goodies unseen, is Austin coming up with some sort of crazy sequence that involves praying that something like ZES blank is in the bag and he can hit an unblockable something with Pier?
Yeah, that's what I would be doing at this point. Unfortunately, he only has around 3 minutes, so it's gonna be hard, you know. Those kinds of sequences take a lot of time to cook up. Although I know
Yeah,
Austin is a very quick player and he's super sharp and um, plays a lot of blitz, so we'll
for
see
sure.
what he can.
The thing that jumps out to me, which is very desperate, but maybe the best he can do, is to fish for squirms. Very much an example of going for broke, but that does at least seem like it might score enough to win. Gonna be tough though, because Alec often has a Z play forming ZE with the E in evens.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, you see the Z out there, and you do probably want to block that spot. So he just plays
Alec probably in a bit of a spot where he's gonna look for possible disasters. Austin has drawn Nortena, does not quite play. Alec has one way to score very well with the hook for pies. He can score 69. Keeping the Q, still a nice option though. I'm going to let the chat look for it. It's a type of wine. I believe it is from Iran.
That's very nice.
A very nice word, very tasty beverage. Might be hard to get rid of the Q afterwards, though. He might be down to one spot. Although, as we know, the U is in the bag, which would certainly help.
Yeah, I wonder then if he should play something like Toady-ish, extending Toady and then making a Q spot for himself, where he can just pick it.
Yeah, the thing I worry about with Toadyish is, does he always get the Q and the Z off? Is he going to get one of them stuck on his rack? So Alec is also thinking about Squiz. I think the idea with Squiz is that it gets rid of both. He does not ever have to worry about getting stuck with either of them.
That's a great point. Yeah, you don't want that Z on your rack at the end. That would be 20 points to your opponent.
And it is just about spread at this point. We can see what the best idea is for spread, and it is actually to play QI for 11.
Oh, wow. I would never consider that, but that I guess makes sense. Just maybe holding out for a big play the next turn after.
Yeah, I think there might be some outside shots at Bingo's Squiz. Not a bad choice, too. Gonna make it easy to go out and hard for Austin to do anything.
Yeah, and Nortena still doesn't go anywhere, unfortunately.
Alec with the word Erhu on his rack now. It's important to note that Squiz actually played for more points, but that would have given Austin Nortena. It would not have been enough, but this is showing Squiz being a better choice for spread, making it a little harder for Austin to work with anything.
Yeah, it would have given back Nortena for 91 points, so definitely would have sacrificed a bit of spread if he had put it in the higher scoring spot.
Alec with, I believe, two words on his rack. I don't think either of them actually play on this board, so Austin going to have a chance to get some sort of out in two if he can find a good one that doesn't set anything up. I'm looking at A, B, taking a front, taking a back A. Maybe he wants to play something like Nano. I don't think that sets up Erhu, actually. Maybe not do that. I would look for words ending in H. I'm not sure if Neath sets up a 5-letter word. I don't think it does. Austin playing North. This is actually his best choice. If both players play correctly, he will lose by 130, which is the best he can do now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that looks solid.
Alec with no outplays, maybe less options than he thinks he has. The best choice being he to the right of Chow for 21. Probably a bit of a disappointment with the H. I know I'm looking for things with a double, triple letter score for 28. Does not exist this time.
Yeah, that's too bad, but oh, okay. Oh no, he made Utah as a joke, I think.
Yeah. Austin with only an 11-point outplay possible, that being Ain underneath North. Disappointing choice, but Austin once again finding the right end game in time pressure. We saw him play a very nice end game against Rashid with very few seconds on his clock. He found a very crazy insertion play of GEAL in between a lot of letters and cut the deficit to 8, despite maybe looking like he would lose by 20 or so. But in time pressure, he found a very nice sequence and cut the deficit to 8. Alec playing he, accepting that that is the best he will be able to do. So it looks like we will get the right sequence. There's actually a second choice for 21, and that is het, forming Hawks and et.
Yeah. Okay, and so Austin's going to go out with neat right in the nick of time.
Right in the nick of time, yes. Alec with 4 points on his rack, and assuming they scored correctly, we've got a final score of 488 to 358 in favor of Austin. Sorry, in favor of Alec. Alec is now 14-2. Very good spot to make the finals. Unfortunately, even if he makes a runaway, he will be in equal footing with second place going into the finals. I think we might do a little bit of mic stuff, open mic. Let's hear from the players.
Really good job of opening the board.
Yeah, I tried. I think I had something correct. Had it. Fine.
Close.
This was a deep setup I had to do. Yeah, because I thought I knew it. So that was like
Depending on that.
find out.
Okay, it sounds like we can't hear too much from players. I did hear Alec commending Austin on how well he opened the board. And I think they were checking to see if there were any missed bingos, which there weren't. But yeah, why don't we cut back?
Yeah, I think Austin got himself in a tough spot. Not really his fault. Alec just got down the combination of Gurnitz and Frothier pretty quickly. Always sucks to see that happen. I think we're going to take a little bit of a break as we try to decide who plays round 17 on stream.